homes roam like freight trains. This fat on weight gain, powder. No one man stand proud. Bright blue speck of light, cost from handstand. Dominant Molotov cocktail, locked and loaded. Murder MCs for free with no motive. Hard time relaxing, not used to taxes. Sick Viking skull with crossbone big plus. Who you really down with? I'm all around the world. You want them hanging downtown?
Yo, that's dope.
Yo, thanks, Prev.
Products not yet rated.
There's a beat around home. I can't slow down to my body to the bone. Give a system sound. I'm living on me and I never look back. I gotta have the track. If they come and close, I'm full of air. I wanna see green and I never see red. I'm living in the track. Like a drop goes on anything. How do you do that? I bring that intensity to make an MC slip. Cause I'm a jump fat. And then I just flip.
I'm the AP on SRS at Namco.
And I'm Robert Zlot, producer on Street Racing Syndicate for Namco. In Street Racing Syndicate, you assume the life of an American street racer. You buy cars, tune-up cars, and race cars against other people that are doing the exact same thing. So we have about 49 cars right now, and we're not done. So we're trying to get as many in as we can. But there's 7 manufacturers right now. We got Toyota, we have Subaru, we have Volkswagen, and lots of editions of cars too. So the Impreza WRX, we also have the STI edition, the 350Z, the Nissan 350Z. We also have the Touring edition, the Performance edition. So the main thing you do, sort of the meat of the game, is you buy a car, you head out and you tune it up and challenge people, and you can challenge people right out on the road as you're driving around, because we have a open city. The whole game is an open map, and if you see somebody, you can go up and high beam them and challenge them to a race. And if they you haggle over the bet, and then you take off, and if you win, you get their money. There's also crew races in the game where these teams of guys sort of have their territory, and you can roll up to their sort of hangout and challenge them to races, and you race for respect and money, and then as you earn money, you tune up your car.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to too. You won't get very far unless you do. So in other games that you might be familiar with, you say you want to put an exhaust on or something like that, you put an exhaust on and it'll tell you that'll be 15 horsepower. It tells you what you're gonna get. In SRS, we don't do that. We actually feature a real dyno, which is a first for games of this type, where you can actually see we're plotting real-time torque and horsepower curves. None of that is lookup tables, none of it is fake. That is straight runtime data from the game engine itself. So you can see right now this is 280 base horsepower for this version of the car. If I go and I modify it, let's say I go and I put over to turbos here, go to Greddy, put a Greddy intercooler on, T78 turbo, buy these parts, and then if I go back and I dyno it again, put it on the dyno, you'll see that there's 2 torque curves and 2 horsepower curves now, and you can actually do comparison runs so that every time you upgrade your car, you'll be able to really see what you gain, and it's the real gains.
It's the actual gains. It's the stock car with the real horsepower and characteristics of that car, and then as you add the parts, it affects the car in the way it would in real life. So those gains from that intercooler and that turbo are actually what you would get. And our dyno is a real dyno. I mean, it's virtual because it's in a video game, but we're actually putting the car on the dyno and letting it run and calculating the output. So
it's generated directly from the physics model of the game itself. And the physics in this game is pretty fantastic. I mean, if you compare it to other games of its type, it's far more realistic. And it's not a sim, but we've really had to start with a basis of realism to get where we want to be. We have car-specific driver assists. So on a car as famous as, let's say the Nissan Skyline GTR, the Skyline has very distinctive driver assist systems. It's got 4-wheel steering in its Super Hika system. It's got electronic torque split in its Atezza Pro system. So we model all of those systems into the actual gameplay, and you can feel it when you're driving the car.
So one of the key things for us was starting with that sim aspect and then bringing out the personalities of the individual cars. If you drive a car with all-wheel drive, it feels different than a car with rear-wheel drive or front-wheel drive. And we've actually tried to, like I said, bring out the... Oh, you're not supposed to hit it, but...
Oh, he accepted the challenge.
Yeah, so there's other racers out in the world, and this is just a pickup race. You just saw this guy driving around, and you're like, I think I can take him. So you just blink your high beams at him, and then it's on.
I don't know if you can see, but in this shot here, we also feature something that you wouldn't expect to see in a game with licensed cars, which is damage. We have real-time damage in the game that's not only visually evident, but affects performance. You can see my hood flapping in the wind right here as I squeeze.
And at the end of the race, you have to go pay for the damage. You have to fix your car. So it's a hard balance to get, have it be fun, and then have the damage not cost too much. And it does affect your car, but it's not so much that you just get hobbled. So the key for us was to keep it fun and to give you all of these features and still have it be, jump in and go, exciting.
Because if it's
racing.
a sim, it's no fun. I mean, driving a car that's completely destroyed isn't fun. Driving a car that you can see that it's wrecked and it doesn't drive as good as it used to, that can still be fun.
In the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. In this case, the passenger in this car is probably yakking his lunch all over the leather upholstery. Portraying both legal and illegal competitions, Street Racing Syndicate lets you live the glorified life of the humble street racer. Car culture nuts will have a virtual candy store of vehicle customization. The game lets you trick out fully licensed rides with dozens of aftermarket parts to choose from. By aftermarket parts, I mean everything from engines, rims, tires, intercoolers, turbochargers, and enough funky spoilers and vanity kits to give the LAPD a run for its money. But in Street Racing Syndicate, there's only one thing that matters most: respect. Although it won't be handed to you on a silver platter, it has to be earned. In other words, I'm going to have to earn my way around this guy. Street Racing Syndicate was developed with some realism in mind. The designers insist they won't exhibit the cheap, frustrating perfection of those racing opponents we find prevalent in other racing titles. The opponents are what they are. What that means is that your opponents are as likely to misjudge turns, chicken out of bottlenecks, and even roll over their cars. Let's go back to the Black Supra. Doesn't look like this guy's misjudging his turns at all. But the game wouldn't be faithful to the street racing culture if you didn't have some girls to cheer you on, right? While other racing games offer the usual licensed cars and parts, Street Racing Syndicate includes the likenesses of real-life import models. So if this girl looks familiar to you, it's because you've seen her before. Yeah, in your dreams. As you earn respect through races, these lovely ladies email you pictures and videos of themselves as, quote, rewards. Street Racing Syndicate looks like one of the more promising racing titles in the works, with its detailed environments, immense customization, and right-on-the-line wagering. Oh, and don't forget, the lovely ladies. We'll keep you in the loop as soon as we get our hands on the final build. Look for this title to cruise into stores around July.
revolution. The lunatics have taken over.